Welcome back to Steffi Fan's channel. Today, we will learn about the issues surrounding Katie Logan's monumental career shift and the emotional ripples it creates throughout the Forrester and Spencer families during this festive holiday season on the bold and the beautiful. Katie's fashion empire dreams come true. Katie Logan finds herself standing at the precipice of an entirely new chapter in her professional life, one that she never quite imagined would materialize in such a spectacular fashion. Following her heartfelt remarriage to Bill Spencer, the publishing magnate who has always known how to make grand gestures, Katie received what could only be described as the wedding gift of a lifetime. Bill, understanding his wife's creative passion and business acumen, presented her with the keys to her very own fashion house. This wasn't just a symbolic gesture or a small boutique operation. This was a fully funded, legitimate fashion empire that would bear her vision and leadership. The magnitude of this opportunity left Katie absolutely speechless. For years, she had toiled away at Forrester Creations, working diligently in the shadow of her sister Brooke and the legendary Ridge Forrester. While she had contributed meaningfully to countless collections and campaigns, Katie often felt like her voice was drowned out by the louder personalities that dominated the creative meetings. Her ideas, though innovative and commercially viable, frequently took a backseat to the established hierarchy at Forrester. This persistent feeling of being overlooked had gnawed at her confidence, creating a deep-seated frustration that she struggled to articulate even to those closest to her. When Katie first approached Brooke and Ridge about her concerns regarding her position at Forrester Creations, she hoped for reassurance and perhaps a more prominent role in the company's future direction. Instead, their responses felt dismissive and failed to address the core issues she raised about visibility and creative input. They offered platitudes rather than concrete solutions, leaving Katie to realize that her professional growth had hit a ceiling at the fashion house where she had invested so much of her time and energy. This revelation, though painful, ultimately empowered her to make the bold decision to accept Bill's extraordinary offer and strike out on her own path. The weight of sisterly bonds. The decision to leave Forrester Creations and establish her own competing fashion house has created an undeniable tension between Katie and Brooke, two sisters whose relationship has weathered countless storms over the years. Their bond, forged through shared childhood memories and strengthened through various personal and professional challenges, now faces one of its most significant tests. Brooke feels a sense of betrayal, viewing Katie's departure as a rejection not just of Forrester Creations, but of their partnership and sisterhood. Meanwhile, Katie struggles with guilt over potentially hurting Brooke while simultaneously feeling validated in her choice to prioritize her own career aspiration and self-worth. Enter Donna Logan, the middle sister, who has always played the role of peacemaker within the Logan family dynamic. Donna understands both perspectives intimately. She recognizes Katie's legitimate grievances about feeling undervalued at Forrester, while also empathizing with Brooke's shock at losing a trusted family member from the company's inner circle. Donna has taken it upon herself to bridge this growing divide, carefully navigating conversations with both sisters as she attempts to help them see beyond their immediate hurt feelings to the underlying love and respect they have always shared. Donna's mediation efforts prove challenging as both Katie and Brooke remain entrenched in their positions. She reminds Katie of the years when Brooke championed her ideas and supported her through difficult times, while gently pushing Brooke to acknowledge how dismissive the Forrester leadership had become toward Katie's contributions. Donna knows that family feuds in the Logan clan have a tendency to spiral out of control if left unaddressed, and she is determined to prevent permanent damage to the sisterly relationship that has sustained them all through so many trials. Will Spencer's journey through trauma. Will Spencer has endured what can only be described as a devastating series of traumatic experiences that would challenge even the most resilient individual. The young man, who was just beginning to find his footing in adulthood, became entangled in a nightmare scenario involving Luna, a relationship that began with promise but descended into horror. Luna's assault on Will, a violation that left deep psychological scars, marked only the beginning of his ordeal. The subsequent revelation of Luna's pregnancy added another layer of complexity to an already unbearable situation, forcing Will to confront questions about parenthood and responsibility under the worst possible circumstances. The miscarriage that followed brought a confusing mix of emotions, relief intertwined with an unexpected sense of loss and the trauma of having lived through such an intense experience. Will found himself processing feelings he couldn't quite articulate, struggling to make sense of events that seemed almost surreal in their dramatic progression. Just when he thought he might finally have space to heal and move forward, tragedy struck again with Luna's death, an event that reopened wounds that had barely begun to close. The entire ordeal left Will emotionally exhausted, questioning his judgment and ability to navigate adult relationships. Throughout this dark period, Elektra emerged as an unexpected source of light and stability in Will's life. Her compassionate understanding of his trauma, combined with her patience as he worked through his complicated emotions, created a foundation for genuine connection. Rather than rushing him or minimizing his experiences, Elektra gave Will the space he needed while remaining steadily present. This supportive approach allowed their relationship to develop organically, built on trust and mutual respect rather than fleeting attraction. Their decision to move in together at Will's beach house represents a significant milestone, symbolizing Will's readiness to embrace a healthier, more positive chapter in his life. A controversial friendship forms. The revelation that Dylan confessed to killing Luna sent shockwaves through the community, yet the aftermath has unfolded in surprisingly unconventional ways. Rather than distancing themselves from Dylan, several key figures including Steffi Forrester, her husband Finn, Will, and Elektra have chosen to maintain their friendship with her despite the gravity of her confession. This decision has raised eyebrows and sparked intense debate about loyalty, justice, and the circumstances that might drive someone to take another person's life. Steffi and Finn's continued association with Dylan suggests they believe there were mitigating factors surrounding Luna's death, perhaps viewing it as a complex situation rather than a clear-cut case of cold-blooded murder. Their willingness to stand by Dylan indicates they see beyond the confession to the person they know, someone who may have acted in self-defense or under extreme duress. Will and Elektra's participation in this social circle is particularly noteworthy given Will's personal history with Luna and the trauma she inflicted upon him. Their ability to separate Dylan's actions from their friendship with her speaks to a maturity and nuance in their understanding of human behavior and moral complexity. This unconventional friendship dynamic raises profound questions about forgiveness, accountability, and the nature of justice. While some might view their continued association with Dylan as condoning violence or showing disrespect to Luna's memory, others might interpret it as a recognition that life's circumstances are rarely black and white. The group's decision to include Dylan in their social gatherings, particularly during the holidays, suggests they are choosing compassion and understanding over rigid judgment. Holiday celebration at the beach house. Despite the tumultuous events that have shaken their lives in recent months, the young adults gather at Will's beach house to celebrate the holiday season with hope and renewed spirits. The beach house setting provides the perfect backdrop for this gathering, casual, relaxed, and removed from the dramatic tensions that permeate the more formal settings of Forrester Creations and Spencer Publications. The sound of waves crashing against the shore creates a soothing soundtrack to their celebration, while the ocean breeze carries away some of the heaviness that has weighed on their hearts. Will, Elektra, Steffi, Finn, and Dylan raise their glasses in a collective toast to the holidays, marking not just the season, but also their survival through challenging times and their commitment to moving forward together. The act of toasting becomes symbolic, a deliberate choice to focus on gratitude, friendship, and future possibilities, rather than dwelling on past traumas and controversies. Each person present has weathered their own storms, and this gathering represents a conscious decision to create moments of joy and connection despite the darkness they've experienced. The casual atmosphere of the beach house celebration stands in stark contrast to the formal holiday events typically associated with the Forrester and Spencer families. Here, without the pressure of maintaining appearances or navigating complex family politics, the group can simply be themselves. They share stories, laughter, and honest conversations about their experiences, creating bonds strengthened by authenticity rather than social obligation. This celebration becomes a turning point, marking the beginning of a support network that will help carry them through whatever challenges lie ahead. Katie's overwhelming moment of realization. Standing in the space that will soon house her fashion empire, Katie experiences a moment of profound disbelief and emotional overwhelm. The reality of having her own fashion house something she had privately dreamed about during countless sleepless nights, but never truly believed would manifest crashes over her like a wave. She walks through the empty showroom, her footsteps echoing in the vast space, imagining the racks of clothing, the design studios, the models practicing their walks, and the buyers examining her collections. This is her vision, her leadership, her name on the door. The journey that brought Katie to this moment has been long and winding, filled with self-doubt and external obstacles that threaten to derail her ambitions. Yet here she stands, a fashion house owner, a creative director with complete autonomy, a businesswoman with the resources and support to build something truly remarkable. The weight of this opportunity brings tears to her eyes, happy tears mixed with the fear of potential failure and the exhilaration of unlimited possibility. She thinks about all the designs she sketched in margins of meeting notes at Forrester, all the ideas she swallowed because they didn't fit the company's established aesthetic, all the times she wondered if she would ever get her chance to shine. Bill's gift represents more than just financial investment. It's a statement of faith in Katie's abilities and potential. He saw what Brooke and Ridge failed to recognize, that Katie possesses the talent, drive, and business savvy to build something extraordinary from the ground up. As Katie continues her walk throughout the space, she begins mentally organizing her first collection, thinking about which designers she might recruit, considering the brand identity she wants to establish, and planning her launch strategy. The initial disbelief gradually transforms into determination and excitement as she realizes that this dream is no longer hypothetical, it's happening, and she is ready. Next, we will learn about the issues surrounding Dylan's mysterious return, to the bold and the beautiful, and the shocking possibility that her true intentions might be far more sinister than anyone could have anticipated. The art teacher, who once seemed like an innocent victim, caught up in Luna Nozawa's twisted revenge plot, has suddenly reappeared in the lives of Will Spencer and Electra Forrester, and her behavior is raising more red flags than a carnival parade. Dylan's suspicious return to the canvas. The character of Dylan first entered our screens as Hayes Forrester Finnegan's cheerful and seemingly harmless art teacher, someone who appeared to genuinely care about her young students and their creative development. She was portrayed as a woman with a passion for nurturing artistic talent in children, and viewers had no reason to question her motives or intentions. However, everything changed when the devious Luna Nozawa, in one of her most manipulative schemes yet, managed to pull Dylan into her elaborate revenge plan targeting Steffi Forrester Finnegan. The art teacher found herself entangled in a web of deception and danger that would forever alter the trajectory of her storyline. What makes Dylan's situation particularly intriguing is how quickly she transitioned from being an apparent victim to confessing to an absolutely shocking crime. Just when fans thought they had figured out her character, Dylan dropped a bombshell that left everyone questioning everything they believed they knew about her. She approached Electra Forrester with trembling hands and a confession that seemed to come from nowhere, claiming responsibility for Luna Nozawa's death. The timing of this revelation was peculiar, the delivery was strange, and the circumstances surrounding her admission raised countless questions that remain unanswered to this day. The Cliff House confession that didn't add up. When Electra and Will Spencer decided to bring Dylan to the iconic Cliff House to face Finn and Steffi Forrester Finnegan, the scene that unfolded was nothing short of bizarre. Dylan stood before the couple, repeating her claim that she was the one responsible for ending Luna's life. She spoke with what appeared to be genuine remorse, her voice wavering as she described the events that allegedly led to Luna's demise. Finn and Steffi, displaying the kind of grace and forgiveness that has become characteristic of their relationship, chose to absolve Dylan of her supposed crime. They accepted her explanation, offered her understanding, and essentially gave her a clean slate to move forward with her life. However, seasoned soap opera viewers know that when something seems too convenient, too easily resolved, there's usually much more to the story lurking beneath the surface. The entire confession sequence felt rushed, almost rehearsed, as if Dylan had been practicing her lines in front of a mirror before delivering them to her audience. Her body language didn't quite match the gravity of her words, and there were moments when her eyes seemed to be calculating something far beyond simple remorse. The way she kept glancing at Elektra during the confession, the subtle pauses in her speech, and the almost relieved expression that crossed her face when forgiveness was granted all pointed to a woman who might be playing a much deeper game than anyone realized. The beach house gathering and Will's unexpected invitation. Fast forward to the upcoming week of dramatic developments, and we find Dylan casually hanging out with Will and Elektra in what appears to be a perfectly innocent social gathering. The trio is dressed in beach attire, clearly enjoying the Southern California sunshine and the relaxed atmosphere that the beach provides. They're laughing, talking, and seemingly bonding over shared interests and experiences. To the casual observer, it looks like three young people simply enjoying each other's company without any underlying tension or hidden agendas complicating their interactions. But then comes the moment that changes everything and sends alarm bells ringing throughout the soap opera community. As the group heads inside the beach house, presumably to escape the heat or grab some refreshments, Will Spencer makes a suggestion that catches both Dylan and Elektra completely off guard. With what seems like genuine hospitality and friendliness, he invites Dylan to spend the night at the beach house. The invitation hangs in the air for a moment, and Dylan's response of really carries multiple layers of meaning. Is she surprised by the generosity? Is she pleased that her plan is working? Or is she genuinely taken aback by the unexpected offer? Elektra's reaction to her boyfriend's spontaneous invitation speaks volumes about the dynamics at play in this triangular relationship. For a brief moment, she appears blindsided, perhaps even slightly uncomfortable with the idea of Dylan becoming an overnight guest in their intimate space. However, being the polite and considerate person she is, Elektra quickly recovers from her initial shock and agrees to Will's suggestion. She rationalizes the decision by telling herself that this sleepover arrangement will provide her with an excellent opportunity to get to know Dylan on a deeper level, to understand what makes this mysterious art teacher tick, and perhaps to uncover the truth about who Dylan really is beneath her friendly facade. The Forrester Creations encounter that revealed too much. Looking back at Dylan's behavior in previous episodes provides crucial context for understanding her current actions and potential motivations. Remember when Dylan made that unexpected appearance at Forrester Creations specifically to see Elektra? The visit seemed random at first, but Dylan had a perfectly crafted explanation ready for anyone who might question her presence. She told Elektra that from the very first moment they met during Hayes' art classes, she just knew instinctively that Elektra was someone she could trust completely and implicitly. Dylan went even further, declaring with what seemed like excessive enthusiasm that she just knew they were destined to become great friends, possibly even best friends who would share everything with each other. This kind of instant connection declaration should always raise suspicions among soap opera fans who have seen this pattern play out countless times before. When someone proclaims friendship before a genuine bond has had time to develop naturally, it often indicates ulterior motives or hidden agendas. The way Dylan emphasized the word friend repeatedly during that conversation, the intensity in her eyes as she spoke about their supposed connection, and the almost desperate quality to her attempts to forge an immediate bond with Elektra all suggested that something deeper and potentially darker was driving her behavior. The search for Bold and Beautiful's next villain. With Luna Nozawa now permanently written out of the show, the Bold and the Beautiful finds itself in need of a new antagonist to drive compelling storylines and create conflict among the established characters. The soap opera formula demands that there always be someone stirring up trouble, pushing boundaries, and making life complicated for the heroes and heroines viewers have come to love. Dylan's suspicious confession, combined with her increasingly strange behavior around Elektra and Will, positions her perfectly to fill that vacant villain role and become the next character that fans love to hate. The sleepover invitation and acceptance create a scenario ripe with dramatic potential and opportunities for Dylan to reveal her true nature. Being invited to stay overnight at the beach house gives Dylan unprecedented access to Will and Elektra's private lives, their personal spaces, and their intimate conversations. She'll be able to observe their relationship dynamics up close, identify potential weak points in their bond, and position herself strategically to exploit any vulnerabilities she discovers. The setting is ideal for someone with nefarious intentions to make their move and begin implementing whatever plan they've been secretly developing. Analyzing Dylan's true target. The weekly preview clip that has fans buzzing with speculation contains a particularly revealing moment that deserves detailed examination. In one brief but telling shot, Dylan's eyes move rapidly back and forth between Will and Elektra, darting between the two young people as if she's trying to decide something important or calculate her next move carefully. There's something unsettling about the quality of her gaze, something that suggests wheels turning behind those eyes, plans being formulated and refined in real time as she observes the couple's interactions. Most viewers watching this clip would naturally assume that Dylan has developed an unhealthy fixation on Will Spencer. After all, he's the one who extended the invitation for her to stay over. He's the one who seems most eager to include her in their social activities. And conventional soap opera wisdom would suggest that a female character showing suspicious behavior is usually after the handsome male lead. This interpretation makes logical sense on the surface and fits with established patterns that longtime soap fans have observed over decades of watching these shows. However, what if everyone is looking at the situation from completely the wrong angle? What if Dylan's true obsession isn't with Will Spencer at all, but rather with the beautiful and talented Elektra Forrester? Consider how Dylan specifically sought out Elektra at Forrester Creations, how she claimed to feel an instant connection specifically with Elektra, and how her eyes seem to linger on Elektra just a fraction of a second longer than they do on Will during group conversations. The evidence might actually point to Dylan harboring romantic feelings for Elektra that have spiraled completely out of control and evolved into a dangerous obsession. The nature of Dylan's obsession. If Dylan is indeed fixated on Elektra rather than Will, her actions take on an entirely different meaning and become significantly more complex and potentially dangerous. Her confession about killing Luna might have been a calculated move designed to create a bond with Elektra through shared vulnerability and trust. By confessing such a serious crime specifically to Elektra and positioning herself as someone who needed Elektra's help and support, Dylan created an emotional connection and a sense of obligation that could be exploited later. It was a brilliant manipulation tactic disguised as an act of desperate honesty. The sleepover scenario becomes even more loaded with potential drama when viewed through this lens. If Dylan is romantically or obsessively interested in Elektra, spending the night in close quarters with her object of fixation, while Will is also present, creates a pressure cooker situation destined to explode spectacularly. Dylan might see this as her opportunity to insert herself more permanently into Elektra's life, to demonstrate that she can be everything Will is and more, or perhaps to sabotage their relationship from within by creating situations that drive a wedge between the young couple. The obsession might not even be explicitly romantic in nature, though that remains a distinct possibility given the way Dylan's behavior has escalated recently. Sometimes obsession manifests as an overwhelming desire to become close to someone, to be their best friend, their confidant, their primary source of support and companionship. Dylan might want to replace Will entirely in Elektra's life without having any romantic intentions whatsoever. She might simply crave Electra's attention, approval, and friendship with an intensity that crosses the line from normal social bonding into something unhealthy and potentially dangerous, setting up future storylines. Regardless of whether Dylan's obsession is romantic, platonic, or something else entirely, this storyline has incredible potential to generate months of compelling drama for the bold and the beautiful. The writers have planted numerous seeds that could grow into fascinating story arcs exploring themes of obsession, manipulation, trust, and the sometimes blurry line between friendship and fixation. As Dylan becomes more entrangled in Will and Electra's lives, opportunities for conflict will multiply exponentially, creating situations where loyalties are tested and true intentions are revealed. The beach house sleepover marks just the beginning of what promises to be an explosive storyline that could reshape relationships and alliances throughout the bold and beautiful canvas. Stay tuned as Dylan's true nature gradually reveals itself and her carefully constructed facade begins to crack under the pressure of maintaining her deception.